I failed 15 times.
15 times.
And I
Fif-
want to say that for the first time in my life, when I finished Nurse Ed 101, for the first time in my life, I actually felt confident that I would pass this test. I knew that I was going to walk in there and I knew that I was going to pass this test. And I never felt that in the last 9 years. You know, the minimum questions is 85 and it stopped me at 90. I went to go to 91 and the computer like shut off. And I knew I passed. I
Yeah.
mean, I could feel it. I knew I passed.
You are the epitome of resilient. You embody the epitome of determination. Like you've been determined. This is something you've never given up on. All right, so I have the delightful pleasure of just having an incredible interview with a lovely young lady by the name of Laylaa Shobi. Laylaa Shobi is going to give us her account, her journey, and I'm going to call this From Resilience to Success. Laylaa Shobi's journey to passing her NCLEX PN. Again, very excited to be here with Mrs. Laylaa. And I just want to let you know this is meant to be an interview that really kind of unpacks what Laylaa has endured, her journey along the way to get to this final destination of passing her NCLEX exam. And again, she's recently done so. She showed incredible resilience along the way. She's been one of our students here at Nurse ED 101, and she has been, again, one of my inspirations personally for her journey and her desire and determination to not give up and to keep pushing forward. So again, this is a story. This is a journey. This is an authentic journey of one of resilience, perseverance, and hoping to give you all out there encouragement. Whether you're a nursing student that's still in school, whether you are a graduate nurse that has finished school, and whether you've attempted the NCLEX, one time, multiple times, etc. This is a journey that's going to help pour back into you hope. This is those for those that have felt discouraged that you couldn't do it, that you can't do it. Guess what? I got news for you. You can do it because
Yes.
Laylaa did it. And I,
Yes.
without further ado, I want to welcome Laylaa to this platform. Laylaa, please introduce yourself. Maybe share a bit about your background, and essentially maybe what inspired you in general to pursue a career in nursing, darling.
Hi. So my name is Laylaa Shuaibi. I've always wanted to be a nurse, because I've always wanted to help people, especially the ill people, people in need. And my aunts were a nurse, and ever since I was a little girl, I've always wanted to be a nurse, especially to help people.
Yes, awesome. And again, when did you start, Laylaa, your journey towards taking the NCLEX? And I guess how did you feel about the process initially? Tell us about
Um,
that.
First off, I graduated from PN school in 2015, and I took my NCLEX 6 months after I graduated. So I took it in 2015. I did fail the NCLEX. I was so upset, and I took it two more times, and I failed it again. And it kept saying near passing. By the third time that I failed it, I had to take remedial courses and so I would be able to take it again because you only have three tries for the state of Florida.
Right. Okay. How
Yes.
many, if you don't mind me asking, how many remedial courses had you taken prior um, to taking
I
ours?
I
Yes.
have taken, I believe, 7 or 8 remedial courses.
Okay.
And I could tell you that every remedial course that I have taken, I felt like the instructor really didn't care about the students' success. I felt like the instructor just cared about getting the money and getting students in their class. And every time I joined those remedial courses, I would never learn anything new. The remedial courses would end, and I would never learn anything new until I found Nurse Ed 101.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what made you decide to enroll into Nurse ED 101's remedial
Um,
course?
So for 9 years, I struggled. I bought so many NCLEX books. I took so many remedial courses, and I had the knowledge there, but for some reason, I was failing the NCLEX, and I had given up. And I'm sorry, it's emotional. But my
Okay.
husband,
Yes. It's okay. Yes. 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 This is real. This is real. These feelings are real.
told me don't give up,
Mm.
and
Mm.
we had
Yeah.
2 kids. And life is just so hard when you're struggling to like, make it ends meet with having
Yeah.
2 kids. And he was saying, don't ever give up. And he said, because with Jesus everything is possible. Nothing can
Mm.
be impossible. And he said one day I believe you will pass.
Yes. 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 Wow.
And
Wow.
so after 9 years of struggling, I went on the NCSBN website and I saw the Nurse Ed 101 information and the phone number, and I called. And when I called, I spoke to um I believe Marcus in the beginning, and then I
Mhm.
spoke to you, Miss Angel.
Mhm.
And it was the first time in my life that I felt a little confident that nothing is impossible,
Mhm.
because you both were so Christianized in the way you both spoke to me, like so positivity, telling me, just give it a try. And
Yes.
I decided to give it a try. And my husband said you have nothing to lose. I mean, I'm paying my student loans. I had nothing to lose. And so I decided to give it a try.
Yes. And you did that. You
Yes.
did that. You did that. And you enrolled into our cohort. Which cohort were you in specifically? Do you
Um
remember? Was it
the
the
August, I
August
started
cohort?
in August, yes.
August. Yes. So you started in August with us. And I remember when you first called me, like,
Yes.
you had a lot of questions, and I really appreciate that because I felt like your questions were you were very intentional with your questions, about the course, the
Yes.
structure, the different things. And, you did give off little feelings of what I felt was a bit anxiety in moving forward, but I had no idea how much you've endured prior. So it kind of
Yes.
made sense to me, and I'm like, you know what, you can do this, and and how I speak so confidently is because we've had so many students in similar situations at points where they felt discouraged or felt like they couldn't do it, and they have taken this course and program, and we've equipped them with the tools and the different resources and the support, which I hope you have felt every step of the way here. And
I did.
we know that it works, and it's worked for others, and that's why I get so much of my confidence, because folks go on, take this course, and then they pass. And so
Yes.
for you, it's kind of your story too.
Yes.
uh that was kind of your story too. Before we speak to that moment, leading up to you taking the actual exam, talk about the course. Like, where do you feel like what were do you feel like there were any specific tools, strategies, or moments during the course that maybe either gave you hope or confidence, or maybe just was like different from other review courses that you've taken before?
Yes, the other review courses, they didn't have the S bar. When we went to clinicals, you had given us the S bar, which was homework for us. They didn't have that system disorder worksheet either. You had given us that. And just that S bar and the system disorder worksheet and working at clinicals in the hospital setting, it just really gave me the more knowledge and the more learning. And I remember after clinicals when we would sit in class and we would listen to each other's S bar and system learnings that they would go over, I would learn through so much. And when one of us would have a mistake, you would always correct it and explain why it was a mistake. And you would go through so much depth that no other teacher did. Another thing that I noticed was you gave us the website to go on to answer 100 questions a day, which you said was minimum. The other instructors, and I'm telling you, I believe I went to 8 different instructors. None of them ever gave us any questions like that. They would make their own questions and give us like 10 or 15 questions to do in a day.
Wow.
None of them was like that. And they never had the S bar, they never had the system disorder worksheet. They basically went through an NCLEX book. We didn't do any clinicals in a hospital setting. In your class, I did. Their clinicals was in like a school setting, and
Okay.
I felt like, not having the real, a real patients, just the mannequins was just different.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes. And you actually got a chance to, if I recall correctly, you got a chance to experience, you said the med surge setting, you got a chance to also experience ER, mother baby. You kind of, did you go all
labor and
over?
delivery,
Labor and
yes.
delivery,
Yeah.
yes, which is, which you brought back some great stories there as
Yes.
well. Yeah. So your experience was very diverse, and I will agree with you. If you mannequins versus the real life situation don't cut it. And when we're talking
Yes.
NCLEX, we really should be submerged in settings that are reflecting what you're going to see, the types of questions, the types of patients that you're going to see on the NCLEX. We want to be able to, with Nurse ED 101, make sure we're putting you in environments that are going to foster that and kind of stimulate that and give you that exposure. So I am very pleased that for the
Yes.
time we were in the facilities, that you got a chance to experience a various setting. And you know what? I can remember you sending me a screenshot of, it was a maternity question, right? You were doing it. This is after clinical, right? Um,
Yes.
yes, and you were like, you sent me a screenshot of a question that you were taking or practicing, and it was related to maternity, and you were like, I got this right, and it was only because, right? Because of my experience in the hospital with maternity.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's making those
Yes.
connections, right? So, I also heard you say that, with the structure in place for our course about doing the daily questions, right?
Yes.
Daily at minimum is 50, but you actually did you did the minimum plus more. And I
Yes.
know that, you know, you you exceeded what our recommendation was, and I love that. But I gotta say, when you're doing and prepping for a test that is a question based test, the more
Yes.
that you practice, the more that you are exposed to the different angles and the ways that those questions are presenting, right? The more that you're able to see the rationale. And for our Q bank, you had another layer. You actually had the opportunity to click remediation and go deeper on that subject area if it was a content issue, right? So you got a chance to
Yes.
kind of deeper dive with like a textbook being built right into the question itself. And do you feel like that also helped too, being able to go deeper into those rationales and the remediation on the topics?
Yes, actually, when I went to the other classes, they didn't have that remediation, if you got a question wrong. Another thing is that you taught us a lot for case studies, and you could do so many questions on case studies. There were so many, and the other courses didn't have that. And I just want to point out that I studied like 5, 6 hours a day for like the past 9 years, but I wasn't getting the
Wow.
correct material to pass. And
Mhm.
I've always felt like I was stupid until I took Nurse Ed 101, and I found out the reason why I wasn't passing is because I wasn't getting any of the material. I
Yes.
wasn't getting any of the hands-on experience.
Yes.
And so that's why, I mean, I just want people to hear my voice.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Material, like resources and the hands-on piece, it really does matter.
Yes.
It's like the ingredients for or recipe for like for success. It really, really, really
Yes.
is. And you know, so speaking of success, like, you disclose that this is something you've been going after, and this has been year after year.
Yes.
And I am so sorry that for the past 9 years or 5 years, you said 9 years, that you
9 years.
9 years that you have felt that way. Because let me tell you something. You and I have to set this up because our classes are blended with PN graduates and RN graduates. And Layla, you happen to be my only PN graduate in the class of other RN graduates. And it's not to take anything away from those students because or those nurses, because they were very good too. But I've got to tell you, and they also told you
Yeah.
that you were like a standalone. You were set apart from that group. You were dynamic in your own right. You ran circles
Yeah.
around a lot of my graduate RN nurses that were in that class, and nothing out, nothing. This is no nothing. But you did such an amazing job. You were able to not only physically do the skill and put it together with taking care of the patient, but you also were able to critically think in certain moments. We were talking through, you brought in post conference, like you were able to connect the dots very well, and
Yes.
you were able to articulate that too during clinical, and you did an amazing job. That's why I was like, listen, there's no way that this young lady is not going to take her NCLEX her next time and not pass it. There was nothing in me that had any doubt, anything. You had the attitude, the positive attitude, the energy. I'm looking like this girl is running, literally running circles,
Yes.
right? Because of your energy, your and just your attitude is so positive and so encouraging and so light and fun, right? Because humor, when we bring humor and we bring this positivity, it's like sometimes bringing light into a dark place. Thank you, Lord.
Yes.
That's exactly what you brought. And you brought that not only to the the patients that we worked with, and the days that we were there in the clinical setting, but you brought that to class. You brought that to your peers, and you certainly brought that to me because you are like unlike any other student that I have ever met. You're such an incredible, resilient human being, and I am inspired by you because you never gave up. Never
Yes.
gave up. And you never gave up. And the saying, I say it in class, like, you fall down 7 times, you get back up 8. How many times did you fall down?
15 times. I
15
failed 15 times.
times. 15 times.
And I
Fif-
want to say that for the first time in my life, when I finished Nurse Ed 101, for the first time in my life, I actually felt confident that I would pass this test. I knew that I was going to walk in there and I knew that I was going to pass this test. And I never felt that in the last 9 years.
Wow. Wow. I got to shout out your husband. And I want to say he's Braden. Is his name Braden? You know
No,
why?
that's
It's not.
actually my son. I'm sorry.
I see Braden Shobi on your under your name.
Yes, sorry,
Everybody,
that's my
this is
son.
Layla, y'all. This is Layla. But
Yes.
your husband, what's his name? I like to say
A-
his name personally.
Ali.
What's his name?
Ali.
Eileen?
Ali. Yes.
Eileen. Man, 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 man. Eileen is should get a VIP, very important person shout out right now because he's been your rock through all of this. He's been
Yes.
encouraging you over and over. And each time you've fallen, he's been right there to support you and to say, keep going. You got this. You can do this.
Yes.
He saw it in you too, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
man, he's the real VIP too here because he's endured the emotional side of all of these. Whenever you had those when you fell, I'm sure he caught that, right? The tears, the
Yes.
hurt, the right, and he's still been right there by your side just every step of the way. Shout out to him for his for him being your rock through this time.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes,
he really was supportive.
yes,
And he said to me, he said, I don't, there's something not right because you're so smart and intelligent. I can't
yes,
understand why you can't pass this test. And I was an A student in nursing school. And
yes.
then when I took your class, I realized I wasn't getting any of the proper material at all.
Wow, wow,
And I
wow.
told my husband, I wish I would have met you 9 years ago because I knew I would have passed right
Oh
away.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You definitely have it. And did you tell me that you have also, well, I'll save that for a moment. I'm gonna save that for a moment. So let's back up to the time you took the course. So you've kind of given us a really good outline of the course itself, the resources, the clinical, and how that all came together for you. So now we're done the course. And upon finishing the course, you went on to go ahead and re-register and get that part started. But in the meantime, you still continue doing your preparation,
Questions.
right? Your question.
Yes. I
We
was
also
still,
go ahead.
sorry.
Hmm.
I was still doing questions every day. I was doing at least 150 questions a day, sometimes 100 questions a day. And I remember like I was so determined to pass, that even though I had the confidence I was going to pass. 11 days before my exam, I was doing 300 questions a day.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. Were you, I don't know if I asked you this, but were you following were you because you know that post-course calendar, did you adhere to that at all? Like, were you kind of following that too? I know you were going outside of that because 300 questions is
Yeah.
definitely outside of that. But did that help at all, giving you a little bit of like a roadmap post the course?
Yes,
Okay.
that helped a lot. And also, everything that you had given us, I
Hmm.
reviewed everything that you taught us in class again.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there was times where I would even go on your website and re-listen to the recordings of our
Okay.
class.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome. And that is a beauty. That's one of the advantages of this course, I will say too, because having recorded sessions, right? Because then it enables you to pop back to it, to hear things. And sometimes you may hear something you didn't hear, before. It's like,
yes,
oh, it's kind of so I'm glad to know that those resources, even after the course ended, that were made still, available to you, you still use them as part of your continued
yes.
preparation leading up to your day. Yes, awesome. All right. So,
I want to add, I'm sorry, I don't mean
yes,
to
please,
interrupt,
no ad, darling.
but none of the classes I took before had a recording saved
Oh,
for us to go back to. None.
okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
So
good to
I
know
never
too.
had
That's
that.
okay. 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 Wow.
In fact, in one of them, her name was Miss Sonia, and I had gone to her class,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried to record her voice from my phone, and she said it's not allowed. She said you
Oh.
can't record my voice. So
Oh.
she wouldn't allow us to record her voice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Well, you got every single voice
I got
recording
everything I
video.
needed from you. Yeah.
We had nothing, everything that this course presented was transparent. So there's nothing, not that that was the reason for not recording for that instructor. Maybe it could be a multitude of things, but here we want to make sure, like you said, like I mentioned, having that recording can be helpful because
Yeah.
later going back to it, can allow you to maybe receive things that you didn't hear before or you did hear, but it just re-cements the information or it just, yeah, it's multifaceted. Having a recording, it could be beneficial and clearly it was to you in this case.
Yes, it
So
really was.
so good. Thank you for letting me know that too. That
You're
that
welcome.
that's been your experience, but I'm glad that, you know, the recordings helped you even after the course ended. So that's
Thank you.
awesome. So the day, how about the night before? Can you take me back
Um,
there?
yes,
The night before.
the night before my test, I'm telling you, I felt so confident. I even told my husband, I said, listen, I am telling you, I am gonna pass this test with flying colors. I know I am. I
Yes.
said I have never learned so much in this 9 years that I learned in like these couple of months in Nurse Ed 101.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went in there and the next day and the minimum questions is 85 and it stopped me at 90. I went to go to 91 and the computer like shut off. And I knew I passed. I
Yeah.
mean, I could feel it. I knew I passed.
Yes. Yes. Do you remember our dialogue before you went in? You text me. He's like, I'm pulling up. You told me you text me. Shot me a
Yes,
text.
I
And he was like,
remember. Yeah.
and do you remember like I was so proud of you just one, I felt like I was taking this test with you, like because you text me. I knew I think the day before or leading up to it that it was coming. The day of
Yes.
we exchanged some communication before you went in, and I'm telling you, I wish I could pull it up because I was saying like go in with boldness, with with everything, like you said, just reiterating you got this. And I remember
Yes.
typing distinctly your first and last name with the letters PN. And
Yes,
then
I remember that.
right after that, I wrote RN #RN loading.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. Yes.
And this confidence and positivity that you gave us, no instructor has ever gave us this positivity.
Mm.
I mean, you were just so positive. And I mean, I can't thank you enough because I know right now that if I would have picked another instructor instead of you, I would still be a CNA today. I wouldn't be a nurse. It's all
Wow.
because of you and your class and you had wonderful instructors that helped us through clinicals as well.
Yes.
Please tell Miss Bernard I said hi. She was so good too. She
I
was so
will.
helpful
She
too.
is, yes, she is, yes, she is. Yes, she is very, 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 she's amazing. Mrs. Brooks, I believe you also got a chance to work with on
Yes.
clinical day, on skills day.
Yes.
So yes, I will pass
They
that
were
on.
so good.
They know too. As soon as I found out, as soon as
Yes.
we found out, like I let them know because yeah, that yeah. And they were very excited to hear your news of passing your NCLEX. Um,
Yes.
but yes, 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 yes. So I'm gonna say, so you went in and I guess just, throughout that test, you said it cut off at 90 questions, wouldn't even let you pass
Yes.
91. There is the 95% confidence rule that we went over on when we were
Yes.
going over the NCSBN's test plan of how they measure your pass or fail. And that is
Yes.
the most commonly used measurement that they have to determine. Once they can determine with 95% confidence that you have successfully passed or failed, they're going to stop giving you questions.
Yeah.
And they did just that at 90 questions with 95% certainty that you are a safe nurse and you had passed that test. You were above the passing standard at that point. 90 questions,
Yes.
done. So I'm getting goosebumps because that just makes me like so happy to know that it didn't take much for them to make that decision. And this is the first time you said it, your words, that you felt this level of confidence and you
Yes.
went in equipped and ready to just show them I'm a safe nurse because that's what that test is. It's a safety assessment test. And
Yes.
it's a measurement of your safety of being a safe nurse. And not only do you possess, not only did you show them that, that's exactly what you showed them. You showed them that I am a safe nurse and I can be that. But you're so much more than that. You're such an incredible nurse with so much compassion. And
Thank you.
I cannot wait for what's ahead for you because it's
Thank
nothing
you.
but greatness. It's nothing but greatness.
Thank
It's
you.
nothing but greatness along the way. I want to ask you this though. So again,
Yes.
you mentioned that passing the NCLEX on this is your sixth, you did it other times. And this is your 16th
Yes.
attempt. You said this was life-changing for you. Can you describe the moment you found out that you passed?
Yes, so I was working as a patient care tech in the hospital and I was so busy. And I was like, I need to check to see if I passed. But we were so busy.
And
And
really quick, this is the next
yes.
day, right? Because
Yeah, this is the next day.
you took your test. What day of the week and what time was your test?
I don't remember the day, but I remember it was at 4 p.m.
I want to say it was a Wednesday at 4
Okay,
p.m.
okay, yes.
Yes, yes. So we're now fast forward the next day. You finished the test,
Yes.
90 questions to shut off, and you felt like you had passed the test, right? You said you had this.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
real quick, before we hit to the next day, what did you do after you took the test? When you drove up, did you do anything like to treat yourself? Did you have like a special drink, like
I'll
or
tell
a
you something.
meal or something? Did you do something nice that to what did you do?
When I came out of that testing site, the first thing I did was I called my husband and he was at work and I
Yeah.
started crying and he said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "Because I know I passed.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know I passed the test without even knowing the results." And he said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "I'm like 99.99% sure."
Oh my God.
And yeah, and I said, "I know that I'll find out by tomorrow morning, but I don't know what time." So, I went to work the next day and then I worked a couple of hours and I believe it was like around 9 or 9:30 a.m. And then that's when I saw I had the missed call from you. And I called you back and you had asked me if I checked the results and I said no because we are so busy at work. I didn't have time. And you had sent me my PN license number through a text.
So let me tell you
And
something.
yeah.
Do you remember me saying to you, I said, "Are you sitting down?" And
Yes, I remember that.
you were like, Should I be?" And then you said to me, you were like, "Mrs. Barnes, you sound like like you're disappointed." You were like, fail? Did
Yes.
I fail again? Or like, did I?" And I said, Layla, I said, "Are you sitting down?" And you were like, "Should I be?" So I said, check your text message. I just sent you a message. And that's when,
When I saw the license number, I cried so much. I fell down to the floor and I started crying on my knees. And luckily nobody else was in the break room. And then that's when I had told you, like, I can't believe it. And then that's when I told you this was my 16th time and I failed 15 times.
and let me make it clear, you never shared that with me the entire time
No,
we were in this course. Not that that was ever a requirement, right? But you never disclosed that to me. So I had no idea that that was your story, your
yeah,
plight, your anything until you shared that with me. And when you said that to me, I could not stop crying either because I it was like jaw dropping. Like I
yeah.
could not believe that that was your and even Marcus, when I repeated it,
He was crying. I
he was
remember.
crying too. We were just so
Yeah,
like we just could not stop crying either and just so overwhelmed with joy for you that this was
yes,
finally you got over it. You did it. And I gotta
yeah,
say that God is so incredibly good. He is so good.
yes,
And without him, his download into me, into this course, into the things that we've given you, all the different ideas, all the different things. That is, I just give honor and glory to God for being the
yes,
conduit to let it flow. But then to see the impact on the other side once it's flown out, once it's flowed, not flown, but
yes,
flowed out. And just the other side of this, like I could not believe it. That's why I said we've got to do an interview. We got to do it. This is just
yes,
like you are the epitome of resilient. You embody the epitome of determination. Like you've been determined. This is something you've never given up on despite support. And I gotta say that people can have a lot of support around them, but it still takes you. It takes what's
yeah,
inside of you too to say, I'm going to get this. I'm going after this. I'm gonna keep going, even if I fall down once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. In your case,
Yeah,
15 times. You
9 years later.
9 years later,
Yeah,
a graduate in 2015. It's 2025 for our
yeah.
record, but that's incredible.
And you're talking about 9.5 years later, because I took it on December 3rd. So we were almost at 2025. So it was almost literally 10 years later. And I never gave
Wow.
up. But I mean,
Wow.
I could just say that you are a miracle. You are an angel that God sent to me. I cannot thank you enough. I know that if I would have never taken your course, there's no way I would be a nurse today. You're the best instructor that anybody could ever ask for. And I'm doing this interview because I know there's people that are like me that are struggling, and I'm telling them that they need to come to you before they take any other course, because I can guarantee them like 99.999%, if they do what you say and if they really truly study, they will pass. But they have to truly study and do the material that you give, and learn, listen to you.
Yeah.
um, I
Wow.
mean, I'm telling you, if they go to anyone else, the percentage of them passing is so low. I got none of this material. It's just amazing. Even when we went to clinicals, like just you and Miss Brooks and Miss Bernard, you guys were always constantly there showing us how to do things correctly in clinicals. I mean, it was just great. You spent so long on like the math equation questions as well, the case studies. I never got any of that in almost 10 years that I failed this NCLEX. I mean,
Wow.
it's horrible. None of the instructors had that care for us, had that compassion. You and your instructors are the only ones who truly wanted us to pass. It wasn't just the money. It's just you truly wanted us to take your course, and you truly, from the bottom of your heart, had that passion to teach us and wanted us to pass. I never got
Wow.
that from anyone.
Wow. Wow.
And I can't thank you enough. I really can't. I just hope that this recording goes out to so many people because they need to come to you.
Wow. They need to come to you first. They need to come to you first to hear your story as well. Like I mean, well, this video is going to help circulate that, but I think just y- your story's been so personal, and it's just, I know it will touch many people. And I guess in closing, I mean, advice, like for someone who is watching, somebody's listening, watching, you know what advice would you give to other nursing students, other graduate nurses, who are struggling to pass the NCLEX, that maybe, like, obviously this course is definitely one of the pieces that you're endorsing, but
Yes.
is there anything else, like, that advice, or like anything that you could advise them to do based on
You
your
know,
story, your journey?
I just want to say that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and when God puts a dream in front of you, he wants you to finish that dream. And nothing in this world is impossible with God. As long as you have God, everything is possible. And my advice to you is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up on your dreams. Keep keep yourself strong and keep going through, stay strong. You will get through this, but the biggest advice in this world that I can give you is if you need to take a remedial course, you've got to take Nurse Ed 101. I'm telling you, there will be light at the end of the tunnel after this course. The
Wow.
instructors care. I can't um encourage you enough that how much this course it means to me right now. I I wouldn't be a nurse right now. It's just amazing. Like, almost after 10 years, nobody could give me the right material. Only Miss Angel and her instructors could. And I would advise you to please, before you take any other course, just give her a chance and take her class. And I'm telling you, you will pass if you listen to everything she says, if you do your questions, if you do your homework, if you study, you will pass because the depth that Miss Angel and her instructors go in, none of the other instructors went in. They were basically going out of an NCLEX book where, Miss Angel and Miss Brooks and Miss Bernard, they weren't just going out of an NCLEX book. They're going out through so much material. And this course has so many different learning styles. If you're a visual learner, if you're a hands-on learner, the other courses did not have that. If there's anything that I can tell you is, if you're struggling to pass the NCLEX, um, please trust me on this. Just take this course and you won't have to go through the 9 or 10 years of struggle that I did. You'll pass the first time. I told my husband, I wish that I would have found Miss Angel 9.5 years ago. I would have been a nurse already. She's just wonderful. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank her enough.
Wow. Wow. Layla.
Yes.
Wow. I just, I thank you so much. I thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much for sharing your story. So it's such an inspiration to all of us listening here. And I think even those who are trying to get past the NCLEX, but whoever maybe listen that has already, you know, accomplished or passed the NCLEX, who's a nurse, may also be inspired by just, you know, realizing like with challenges you can get over them and obstacles you can
Yes.
get past them, and maybe it could be nurses that are dealing with that, or trying to get over hurdle, or which direction do they want to now go in. Maybe they're nurses that want to go into a different direction than they're in right now, and maybe going back to school or kind of, they might be juggling certain things. And your story has just given so much hope on so many levels for those that there aren't nurses yet, as of yet, right? And those
Yes.
that are just that, where you have shown obstacles that you can get past it, you can get over it, you can
Yeah,
get
you
forward,
can.
you can do this. And I love that I have been a part of this journey for you. I love you. I see you as family. I am here for
Yes.
you. I will always be here for you, from a friend, from a nurse, from a mentor, from any support that I can provide in any way. I'm here for you every step of the way. And I love your story. I love the resilience. Again, I'm so appreciative of you trusting the process and listening to your husband who said, "Hey, you have
Yeah.
nothing to lose, right? We'll take this course." And you took it by
Yes.
the reins. You came to class, you asked questions, you read, you did questions when we weren't together, you showed up for clinical, and you did your very best. And as I told you, ran circles around many of my
Yes.
other students that were there in that course too. I love that you just maximized your success with the resources that we gave, because guess what? It's one thing to give resources and provide you and equip you with the things needed to be successful, but it's another thing to actually use them. To
Yeah.
actually work them, like use them and then cope, right? It's and doing
Yeah.
it consistently, which you did. And as a mother, you are a mother, your wife, you wear many hats, you do a lot. You're pulled
Yes.
in many directions, but you still managed to make this course, this program a priority. And I think with that, like I said, it's here, it's in you. So while I receive some credit, again, I give God all the glory and honor, but I'm telling you, you have something that is so special that is just so, that's why whatever door has closed, which we talked about a little bit, you
Yes.
have a bigger door. You got bigger doors that are going to be opening for you, especially in this year, 2025. I know that. I already see that.
Yes.
And I already
Thank
see that.
you.
So again, I thank you so much for your time. Again, if there are others that are listening that are struggling with passing the NCLEX, please reach out. You've heard Layla's story. She's highly endorsed this course. Again, I know that it has helped others as well that have done the same challenge, struggling with trying to get past this hurdle that a lot of folks will put up here, super high up here, right?
Yes.
But you can. We'll bring that hurdle down, and we're gonna help you get over it. And again, all you got to do is reach out to us. I'm here for you. Um, my team is here for you, and we are just ready to support you every step of the way to get you ultimately past this NCLEX. And I say in class oftentimes, we're here to help support you, yes, to get the license, but we also want you to keep that license, right? You're working so hard
Yes.
to get it, but you need to also be able, or we want you to keep it. And
Yeah.
keeping it is making sound decisions as a nurse, being competent, being safe, being forward thinking about anticipating what's next. What are we going to do for the patient? And just that a sound assessment skills and all of that. All of that is so important and vital to being an amazing nurse, coupled with compassion and all of those other pieces. So, again, we're going to help you get there. So, again, if you are interested in getting more information, getting information on how we can serve you here at NurseD, support you here at NurseD, please reach out to us. Again, Layla's story shows us that no matter how many times you fall, you can get back up. Whether it's one time you've fallen, two, three, four, in Layla's case, 15, she got back up each and every time. And on her 16th time, she finally passed her NCLEX. And guess what? She makes Layla's story makes and shows us that anything is possible. Achieving your dreams is
Yes.
possible. She never gave up on that. And she's currently, for 2025, positioned herself to go back to school and continue her education towards becoming a registered nurse.
Yes.
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 So that's what we save the best part for last. She's continuing to keep going, y'all. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh, Layla. Layla, I love this.
Thank you.
And Layla's going to be teaching for Nursey D 101. She doesn't even know it yet. She's going to be teaching. She's going to be leading the efforts here at Nursey D 101 in the future. I already see it. I already see it. I
Yes.
do. I see whatever God has for you is for you. It's for you
Thank you.
clearly.
Thank
So,
you.
Ms. Layla Shobi, Mrs. with the licensed practical nurse, those letters that trail her name finally.
Yes.
Yes, I want to thank you once again for your time. You're an inspiration to all of us, and I love you
Thank you.
dearly. And just keep swimming, keep pushing,
Thank you.
keep being amazing, an amazing
Thank
person that
you.
you are. You are
I
so
love you
welcome.
too. And like I said, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so
Yes.
much for everything you've done for me.
You are incredibly, incredibly welcome, and you're most welcome. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.